Nevada head coach Steve Alford, and as I was researching a bunch of the teams, I think I had this notes for some of the other players, there are a million random connections to UCLA of all teams.
Is that
you
right?
know, Donovan Dent going to UCLA, and then
Right.
Dylan Andrews coming from UCLA to Boise State. San Diego State played UCLA early in an exhibition. You came from UCLA. Obviously, that's is a ways to go before you came to Nevada.
Right.
Just I don't know. UCLA just seems to keep poking at the Mountain West every single year, one way or the other. There's kind of a funny coincidence there. But just one thing I want to ask, because I wanted to ask all the head coaches about this, because it's kind of the hot button topic for college basketball. NCAA tournament expansion. They're looking at going to the 76 teams. You know, a lot of the defenders of mid-major basketball, most of them tend to be against it. Most people tend to be against tournament expansion in general. Just how do you kind of feel about that decision to expand the tournament by, I think, another 8 teams or so?
Yeah, I don't know if I've given it much thought or dove into it probably enough to have an opinion of it. Obviously, we've got a great tournament, so anytime you've got a great product, I think it's hard to mess with it. But we've had a great product, and we've messed with it with transfer portal and NIL and collectives and revenue share, and so and now we're splitting leagues everywhere and poaching leagues everywhere. So the landscape is changing, and so does it allow for more athletes to have a chance to play in postseason play and those type of things? Because what you're seeing, I think what's evolved over the last 5 years is that, in our team, I think we've turned down NIT because of players not wanting to play if it's not the NCAA because they're getting into the portal.
Yeah.
And so it used to be, we went to the NIT championship game against UCLA and Reggie Miller back my sophomore year, and that set the stage for what we would do 2 years later and winning a national championship. So I think postseason is great. It's just now because of the portal, most athletes, and you look at bowl games in football, if it's not a legit bowl game, and I think we have a lot of bad bowl games, players don't want to play in those. And so you're seeing that in basketball now. You're seeing players don't want to play unless it's in the NCAA tournament. So it is a way of correcting that, expanding it, or do we just keep it like it is and know that we're going to have, outside of the NCAA tournament, we're going to have a lot of watered-down events?
Yeah. Even with the college basketball crown, that seems to be – I know Boise State was able to play, and that seems like kind of prime. Like they're basically playing as the portal's going on. It seems like that's hard to get someone to.
The timing is really hard. It's going your Final Four week.
Yeah.
So it's to get players to wait, that long to play again. There's a lot of players that just don't want to do that because they want to get a head start on the portal and see what's going on. Or if it's not head start on the portal, you're dealing with the agents of trying to retain that kid. Yeah. So I think that's just until we get guardrails that way, I think it's hard to figure out if it needs expansion or not, because more than expansion, I think right now we just need guardrails on. I'm all for players, getting paid now and those type of things, as long as we got guardrails, and I'm all for the transfer. But I'm more in favor of one. You get that one time, but it can't be open free agency where you just get a transfer every year, and you don't like how things are going, so you're in the portal in January every year. That makes no sense to our game, in my opinion.
Now, I think one coach suggested almost buyouts, where if you transfer some.
The argument's always been, coaches can move. Well, yeah. I don't know if I buy that argument, because I was a player before I was a coach, and you earned that right as an adult.
Yeah.
I went to college to go from being a young man to a man. Once I became a man and I got into coaching, I earned that right through coaching. If I want to move, I can move. Now, in every contract I've had, and I've been very blessed to be in 6 terrific places to coach, I've had buyouts. So if I left, then the school I left was getting some kind of financial benefit from that. Or if you get fired as a coach, you can move and those type of things. Then put buyouts in players' contracts. Yeah. And if you're going to make it like this open border thing to where you can just do whatever you want, then you've got to have some kind of buyout on the players as well. But I still am way in favor of you got to do that one transfer the way it is right now, and that's it. I think we would correct a lot of issues in our game if it was just one time to transfer like they do.
So let's talk about actual basketball. There's a lot of fun things. But looking at the Mountain West, you have a few teams that are kind of the favorites. Basically, they're the ones who return some players. And then there's kind of everyone like, I guess, 4 on down in the preseason poll. A lot of uncertainty, a lot of new players. You're one of those teams. You do bring some guys back with Chuck and with Tyler. So what do you guys got to prove as far as like you're bringing in new guys? What are the things you feel like you need to prove to people who they have some doubt about? Obviously they don't want to have doubt about the Nevada program, but what do you guys got to prove to get back on that level where there's more confidence in some of these teams with returners?
Yeah, I think, if you ask me, like I know San Diego State's loaded. They retained a lot. They had a couple guys hurt that are back. So I know how good they are. Other than that, I don't know if I can name 3-4 players on anybody's roster because you don't really learn until you stick getting box scores now here in the fall of who got what in the portal. So it's like us. This is my 35th year. I've been so blessed in this business. In 35 years, I've never had 10 new players, and I got 10 new players. We retained 4, and we've gone out and reloaded with 10 guys, and I love this team. I'm very excited about it. We've had a great summer. We had a great Bahamas trip. We played a first exhibition game. We did a lot of good things at Utah. So I really like this team, and I think we have a high ceiling. It's just connecting 10 new guys to the 4 retaining. And I think and that's a credit to the players. They've done a really good job this summer of doing that. I think we're going to be better, but you got to play the games to see what's going to happen. But I do think right now, if you had to start the season now, I think it's legit. San Diego State's I think they're the best team right now. And now you got to play the games to see how that factors out. And I think that if we continue to work, continue to do what we're doing, we've got the talent that we're gonna be in the mix somewhere.
So you mentioned the exhibition. You already played a game near my neck of the woods against Utah. You get the win there. I wasn't sure what to make of either you or Utah. You mentioned did some good things. What are the biggest things you saw in that game with your team?
Well, going to a Big 12 opponent, and again, it's an exhibition game, but now it's not just scrimmages. They're live exhibition games. You're getting crowds, you're getting bands, you're getting cheerleaders, you're getting and I like that. I like the rule of being able to play Division I schools instead of non-D1 schools because now you're getting like teams, like bodies, like athletes. And so I thought it was a good feel for us. We played 12 guys. We had a couple guys out, just like Utah had, but we led most of that game, and to do that, turned them over 18 times, which is something defensively we really like. We only had 10 turnovers ourselves, and we didn't shoot the ball well, but we were able to score 80 points and do a lot of good things offensively on a Big 12 floor. For us, in early October, like it is, to go do what we did, it's kind of what we've been seeing in the summer. And now we got one more exhibition with Eastern Washington on Saturday, and then we tip it on the 4th against La Tech. So I'm anxious to see how we just keep getting better week to week.
Is the fact that the exhibitions are now public to a degree, I know not all of them are on TV or whatnot, does that change your approach? Because closed door, you can kind of like, hey, we're just going to throw these lineups kind of informal, almost like a glorified practice.
Right.
Do you still approach it maybe in a similar way, or do you have to adjust things to where it's more public now?
We approached it that we were going to play a lot of guys, and so we didn't play. But I do think we're going to be a team this year that'll play 10 to 12 guys. I really do. If we stay healthy, our depth is what's going to be a strength of what we do. But and trying to wear teams down, I think that's our approach right now. That could change with injuries, obviously, and challenges that the season presents. But I like how it's set up now. I like being able to play. I'd even be in favor of 3, or you could play 3 exhibition games, especially if our practice season is going to continue to start in September. I'd probably be one of those guys that I wish college basketball was October 1 and we had a date across the whole globe that everybody knew that, like the old days where October 15th was when basketball started, October 1 would be when basketball started. And I think 4 to 5 weeks is plenty of time for practice, knowing that we've had all summer with our guys as well. But adding a 3rd exhibition game might be something that everybody should look at, just because I think guys get tired of going against one another. And when you go against somebody else, we've had film. We've watched film every day since the Utah game with our guys. Like, we've shown them tape for 3 straight practices since the Utah game of just breaking that down of what they did against us that we got to correct. And maybe it was screening, cutting, whatever it may be that we got to work on. That's helpful. So I think the more games you can kind of get in the preseason helps you.
So I don't want to keep you too long, but Elijah Price, I think he was one of the top transfers from within the Mountain West, stayed in the Mountain West. and preseason All Mountain West. Now, what do you see out of him? I think he's one of the few sophomores that made that team.
Yeah, a young player that's, I think, getting better. He's a redshirt at Drake before he went to Fresno, and had a very good year last year. Double type guy, high motor, and somebody that gives us a big shot in the arm. Obviously, we lost Nick to Clemson, so to lose Nick and gain Elijah. That's a really good athlete that fills that void for us, that can play the 4 and the 5 like Nick did for us. He can guard 5 positions. He's very athletic, very good rebounder, and I think his scoring is just going to continue to get enhanced.
And real quick, you brought in a couple of junior college guys, Vaughn, and I'm suddenly forgetting the other guys. I think you had a few junior college or
we got one junior college in, Vaughn Weems, who's the second leading scorer in junior college last year, a lefty that can really score and really guard. He's a good two-way player. And then Joel Armingtraden is from Riverside. We haven't had a big like this. A very athletic, high motor kid that we've really liked. Caleb Lowry is from the NAIA Masters, a very good program, well coached. He was 3-time NAIA Player of the Year. 6'8", again, another two-way player that can play inside out. Corey Camper from UTEP, outstanding two-way player that we're very excited about. And Tayshawn Comer, very good combo point guard, off guard that can score it and distribute, from Evansville, who's from Indiana, won a state championship at Cathedral, and he's been well coached. So those are a couple of the guys that we've been able to add to what we've been doing.
All right, thank you so much, Steve, for coming on.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Talk to you guys later.
Thank you.